welcome to this deep dive. Our mission today, well, it's about how one single stone basically unlocked the silent world of ancient Egypt.
Right. For over 1,000 years, maybe closer to 1,400, those hieroglyphs were just mystery, silent symbols.
Totally indecipherable, their whole world lost to time. It's hard to imagine.
It really is. You see these massive monuments, temples, tombs, but you couldn't hear them, until this one discovery.
So let's get into it. Let's unpack the story of the Rosetta Stone. It's the key, really, that brought a whole civilization back to life for us.
It all starts summer of 1799, Napoleon's in Egypt.
Right, the expedition. And it wasn't just soldiers, was it? He brought scientists, scholars, the savants.
Exactly, a whole scientific corps alongside the army. Quite a mix.
So these scholars were there to document everything. But the stone itself, that was found by soldiers, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely by accident. Near Rosetta Rashid today, French soldiers were tearing down an old wall, expanding Fort Julian.
Just routine construction work, basically.
Pretty much. And out comes this big slab of dark stone, granodiorite, technically.
And it's pretty hefty, I understand.
Oh, yeah. About, 3/4 of a ton? Maybe 112 centimeters high, 76 wide, irregularly shaped top.
But the size wasn't the point, was it? It was the carvings.
That was everything. 3 distinct bands of script. You had the classic hieroglyphs at the top, looking very pictorial.
The ones everyone sort of pictures when they think of Egypt.
Right. Then below that, demotic, a more cursive everyday script. And crucially at the bottom, Ancient Greek.
Ancient Greek, language scholars could read.
Precisely. And the Greek text actually said that the same decree was inscribed in all 3 scripts. That was the absolute breakthrough.
Wow, so it was literally a key with instructions included. A translator's dream, like you said.
Couldn't have asked for better, really.
Okay, so discovery, check. But then it changes hands, right? The British defeat Napoleon.
Yes, and the stone ends up with the British. It arrives at the British Museum around 1802.
And that kicks off this huge intellectual race, doesn't it? Who can crack the code?
Absolutely. The challenge was immense. Many tried, but 2 names really dominate the story. Thomas Young in England and Jean-François Champollion in France.
Young made some important first steps, I believe.
He did, yeah. Very clever guy, a polymath. He figured out that those oval rings, the cartouches, contained royal names.
Like Ptolemy?
Ptolemy, Cleopatra, names like that. And crucially, he suggested that some hieroglyphs might represent sounds, not just ideas, phonetic elements.
That seems like a massive leap.
Foundational work, definitely. But Champollion was different. He was utterly obsessed with Egypt.
From a young age, wasn't he?
Completely. And he dedicated himself to languages, especially Coptic.
Coptic being the later form of the ancient Egyptian language, written with Greek letters.
Exactly, the direct descendant. He knew Coptic inside out, and he suspected, correctly, that it held the key to the ancient sounds. He built meticulously on Young's work, but with this deep linguistic advantage.
So did Champollion have one of those classic eureka moments?
It seems he did. The story goes, September 14th, 1822, he's looking at copies of cartouches from Abu Simbel. Names like Ramses and Thutmose.
Okay.
And suddenly, using the phonetic values he'd already worked out, plus his knowledge of Coptic for vowels and structure, it all clicked.
Right.
He realized it wasn't just phonetic sometimes.
What do you mean?
It was a complex system. Hieroglyphs could be sounds, or they could represent whole ideas or concepts, or they could be determinative signs that clarify the meaning of a word, all mixed together.
Wow, so incredibly sophisticated, not just a simple alphabet.
Not at all. It was this beautiful, complex interplay, and that realization, that was the key to the whole system. He'd cracked it.
Unlocking a language silent for, 14 centuries? Just
Yeah.
incredible. So what was the immediate impact? What happened next?
Well, suddenly, ancient Egypt could speak. All those inscriptions on temple walls, on papyri, in tombs, they weren't just decoration anymore.
They were texts. Libraries, really.
Vast libraries. It was like a light switch flicking on across the entire field of Egyptology. We could finally read what they wrote in their own words.
And what did we start learning when they could speak to us again?
Oh, everything. Their religion, their gods, the details of pharaohs' lives, their bureaucracy, their science, mathematics, medicine.
Their poetry, their stories.
Yes. Their
Yeah.
literature, their wisdom texts, even, everyday things like letters and contracts. It wasn't just history, it was the whole texture of their lives. An entire civilization resurrected from silence.
It really transforms them from these sort of distant, unknowable figures into actual people.
Absolutely. It connected us directly to their minds, their beliefs, their world.
So this story, it's obviously about decipherment, about archaeology, but it feels like more than that.
I think so too. It's about human curiosity, isn't it? That drive to understand and persistence. Champollion worked for years on this.
And maybe even a bit about how knowledge builds, Jung's work, Champollion building on it.
Collaboration, even rivalry, pushing things forward. It shows how one discovery, seemingly small, like one stone, can just change everything.
It really does. And it makes you think, doesn't it?
Definitely. You have to wonder, what else is out there, hidden in plain sight? Maybe not his phone, maybe something else entirely, just waiting.
Waiting for the right person, the right questions.
The right key. Makes you think about the secrets our own world might still hold.
A great point to ponder.
Yeah.
So, listening to this, what really stands out to you from this deep dive?